What's up, guys? Welcome to your 23rd Android tutorial for the new Boston. What we're going to do in this tutorial is some more XML, show you guys some more customized features that you can use and methods, and also some other widgets that we can throw in there. So what we're going to do first is basically go into your graphical layout and use a toggle button. I'm going to show you guys how to use this. We're going to throw this in between our text view and our button, so right there. And then what we want to do is have this toggle button on the same line this button is. So now we're going to define it in the Android XML here. So I realized the last tutorial I was saying Control-Shift format, and it's actually Control-Shift-F. So that's what you guys want to do, or Command-Shift-F if you guys are on a Mac. So then just format it, and then what we want to do, like I said, is get that toggle button on the same line as our regular button. So what we can do is set up a new linear layout, and I'm just going to kind of separate those two so we have some working room, and we're going to set up a new linear layout that's going to be horizontal, so those buttons are next to each other. So what we're going to do is a greater than sign linear layout, which you guys should be pretty much familiar with. And then we're going to use our closing statement, cut it and paste it below our button and our toggle button. So there we go. Now what we need to do is set up kind of the linear layout, what we want it to be, what we want it to cover. So we're going to say Android layout width, and we're going to set that equal to fill parent, and Android layout height is going to wrap the content. The only other thing we really need to define right now is the Android orientation. We're going to set that equal to, again, horizontal. There you go, and now let's check it out. It looks pretty good, but what's happening is, again, it's pushing that toggle button off the screen because our button is filling the parent. Now I'm going to introduce you guys to something called WeightSum and weight. So what we need to do first is make sure, since this is a horizontal view, and that's what we're going to work with, is basically the width of both objects. So the first thing we want to do is set both the widths to fill parent. I know it sounds kind of strange because it's not really going to change anything, but we're going to say fill parent, and if we check it out, nothing really changed. But now what we can do is we can apply some, like a total weight value within this linear layout. We're going to hit Control-Shift-F again, kind of format it. Okay, that didn't turn out the way I thought it was. But basically, we can add a weight sum up here within this linear layout. Then we can distribute some of the weight within each item, and it'll take up kind of a percentage of what's available. And since the whole width is available, that's what it's going to distribute. So how we're going to set that up is we're going to go into this linear layout where we define some stuff, and we're going to set up the total value. So we're going to say Android weight sum is the command, and we're going to set it to something like 100 because 100 is pretty easy to work with. Then you can kind of give them percentages. Now we're going to go into our first item, our button here, and we're going to give it a weight value. So we're going to say Android, and it's actually a layout weight value. So that's why we had our layout width fill the parent, because that's what the percentage is going to go to, the layout. So we're going to say layout underscore weight, and we're going to set this equal to 50 just to start with. And then we're also going to define 50%, or 50 value for our weight, because we want our total weight to equal 100. So 50 plus 50 is 100. Again, free math lesson for you guys. Let's check that out. There we go. We kind of have them both set up for the most part to get it 50% of the whole available width. So that's kind of the introduction to the weight value, but and how weight sums work and all that great stuff. But the only other thing is you'd assume like 75%, or if we put like 75 here and 25 here, that the 75 would have a greater distance, but it's actually the opposite. So we're going to say the button is going to have like 20, and the toggle button is going to have 80. So if we check that out, that's what it's going to look like. basically this has 20% even though we defined it as 80, having a weight of 80. And this is we've set as 20, and it's going to have 80% of the whole width. So there we go. One last thing, I might as well do that in the next tutorial. I think I'm running out of time here, but catch you guys then, and we're going to work with some XML real quickly in the next tutorial. Have a good one, guys.